My stepfather abused me my whole entire life, so I got introduced to drugs by just hanging with the older crowd, and I like the way it just like numbed my pain.
Note: to help viewers gain a clearer, more objective, and comprehensive understanding of the impact of social ills, we may use images from other areas with similar conditions and situations. If you live or are present in such areas, please share your observations and opinions in the comments section. These contributions will help us improve and update the content in future videos. Thank you. Texas is among the fastest-growing cities in the United States, contributing significantly to national growth in 2024 and 2025, where new jobs continue to be created daily. But alongside these positive numbers, a harsh reality is quietly unfolding. According to the latest point-in-time report from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, by early 2024, Texas recorded nearly 28,000 people experiencing homelessness. This is not the story of a small, overlooked group. It's a sign that many people are standing very close to the fragile line. A single economic event, a health incident, or an unexpected natural disaster could shatter the stability they've worked so hard to build. Social research organizations in Texas say that the majority of those in this situation once had jobs, rented homes, and were once part of a normal community. So the question isn't, is Texas developing? But rather, is that development sustainable enough to ensure no one is left behind? In this documentary, we'll delve deeper into the numbers, the real-life stories, and the ongoing efforts to better understand the paradox of a land rich in potential, yet still facing persistent social challenges.
The problem of numbers.
To understand the challenges Texas faces, we need to start with concrete numbers. According to the latest point-in-time count from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, as of early 2024, Texas recorded approximately 27,900 people experiencing homelessness at any given time. This number places Texas among the states with the greatest challenges in the U.S., not only because of its large population, but also because of its uneven distribution across regions. In major cities like Houston and Dallas, Fort Worth, local reports from the Texas Homeless Network show a slight increase in the number of people living in temporary housing following economic and weather disruptions in 2023 to 2024. Meanwhile, some medium-sized areas like Midland or El Paso have seen localized decreases, thanks to more effective coordinated housing programs and community support. It's noteworthy that, according to data from the Texas Homeless Network, the majority of those in this group are not new to the problem. Many have been in housing insecurity for over a year, showing that this is a long-term challenge that cannot be solved by short-term measures alone. At the community level, a 2025 survey by social research organizations in Texas found that over 60% of residents believe that housing insecurity is directly impacting safety, health, and social cohesion in their local area. These numbers aren't meant to label or assign blame. They raise a bigger question. Backhand index pointing right, what is making it increasingly difficult for more people to maintain stability in a state that is still growing? To answer that question, we need to go beyond the statistics. and listen to the stories behind the numbers. What do you think about the alarming situation in Texas? Can you tell me what you would do if you encountered these homeless people? Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. Now we will continue to the next part.
Real life under pressure.
Behind the statistics lies a very real-life situation. It's about mornings starting earlier than usual, not to go to work, but to find a safer place to start the day. According to field surveys by the Texas Homeless Network, in many major Texas cities, a growing percentage of people struggling with housing are living temporarily in cars, old mobile homes, or enclosed public spaces. For them, a car is not just a means of transportation, but a place to sleep, store belongings, and sometimes their last remaining private space. Living in precarious conditions means constant relocation, limited access to healthcare, and significant obstacles in finding stable employment. Reports from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development show that women, children, and the elderly are the groups most significantly affected by long-term homelessness. Unstable living spaces also create prolonged mental stress. According to data compiled by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, housing insecurity is strongly linked to declining overall health and feelings of social isolation. Footprint: children studying in cars, parents preparing simple meals. Yet, amidst these pressures, many still try to maintain their daily routines. They work part-time, take their children to school, and seek out community kitchens, churches, or local organizations to stay connected to society. What they desire is not just a roof over their heads, but stability, so they can plan for tomorrow instead of just worrying about tonight. When an economic crisis, a natural disaster, or a policy change plunges entire families into insecurity, the question is no longer who is at fault, but which system is making so many people so vulnerable. To answer that, we need to look deeper into the structural causes shaping this crisis across Texas.
Systemic causes.
To understand why more and more people are facing housing insecurity, we need to look beyond individual stories and question systemic factors. According to data from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Texas currently has only about 40 affordable homes per 100 low-income households, one of the lowest ratios in the United States. This means that, even with jobs, many families cannot find affordable housing. The latest report from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that from 2023 to 2025, the cost of living in Texas will increase faster than the average wage increase, especially in urban areas like Houston, Austin, and Dallas. As rent, utilities, and insurance all rise, even a small event like temporary job loss or unexpected medical expenses can push a household off the path of stability. Besides economic pressures, Texas is also one of the states most affected by natural disasters. According to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, in 2025 alone, hurricanes and floods forced thousands of households to leave their homes for extended periods. Not all of them were able to return. Finally, research organizations like the Texas Homeless Network emphasize that the lack of coordinated efforts between housing, employment, and social support leaves many people falling through system gaps, even as they try to maintain a normal life. As housing becomes scarce, the cost of living rises rapidly, and environmental risks increase. The question is no longer whether individual efforts are sufficient. It is a question of whether a system is flexible and inclusive enough to protect the most vulnerable. From here, we will look at the impact of these factors on the entire Texas community. When housing insecurity persists, the consequences extend beyond individuals to encompass the entire community. According to an analysis by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, those without stable housing are significantly more likely to require emergency medical services than those with permanent homes. This places considerable pressure on the local healthcare system. A 2025 report by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention shows that hospitals in major urban areas of Texas are experiencing a sharp increase in emergency care costs, largely related to preventable health conditions if living conditions were more stable. The impact is not limited to healthcare. It is also evident in socioeconomic life. According to the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts, cities are spending hundreds of millions of dollars annually on emergency services, sanitation, and social assistance, funds that could otherwise be invested in education, infrastructure, or long-term community development. This impact also affects children and families. Data from the U.S. Department of Education shows that children living in unstable housing conditions face more barriers to learning, from constant commuting to a lack of safe spaces for studying and resting. However, alongside these concerns, many communities in Texas are beginning to change their perspective. Public opinion surveys in 2025 show that more and more people are realizing that this is not a small group problem, but a common challenge for modern society, requiring long-term solutions rather than short-term responses. The social impact of the housing crisis is measured by budgets, services, and quality of life, but more fundamentally, it reflects the level of community cohesion. And it is from this understanding that positive changes are gradually taking shape.
Efforts are ongoing.
In the face of the widespread impacts we've just seen, Texas isn't standing still. In recent years, government agencies and community organizations have begun shifting from emergency response to long-term investment solutions. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, federal funding for Texas has increased significantly between 2024 and 2026, focusing on stable housing, rent assistance, and homelessness prevention programs. At the state level, the Texas Interagency Council for the Homeless acts as a coordinator among more than 20 different agencies, aiming to reduce resource duplication and deliver assistance to the right people more quickly. An updated 2025 report shows that areas adopting a housing first, support later model have seen significantly higher rates of housing stability compared to older approaches, particularly in small and medium-sized cities. Houston is a prime example. According to plans announced by Houston, the city has invested tens of millions of dollars in affordable housing projects and programs to help outdoor dwellers move to safer spaces. Local data shows that these efforts have helped reduce the number of people living outdoors for extended periods, while also easing the strain on the healthcare and emergency services systems. Alongside the government, nonprofit organizations and community networks play an irreplaceable role. According to the Texas Homeless Network, thousands of volunteers across the state are providing support ranging from job counseling and service connections to long-term support for those in need. These programs don't promise immediate solutions, but they rebuild trust, something many have lost after a long period of uncertainty. The ongoing efforts demonstrate one thing clearly: When policy, data, and compassion converge, change slowly, however inevitable, can occur. And from that foundation, the next question is no longer, is there hope? But how far will we go together? Amidst the numbers and policies, another element is becoming clearer than ever: the voice of the community. In recent years, in many cities across Texas, people are no longer just watching from the sidelines. They are beginning to ask questions, engage in dialogue, and demand more constructive solutions. According to the Texas Homeless Network, the number of community-initiated initiatives has increased significantly since 2024, ranging from open dialogues to awareness campaigns about stable housing. At local council meetings, residents, small businesses, and even those who have experienced housing instability are speaking out together. Not to assign blame, but to emphasize that this is a shared community issue affecting the safety, health, and quality of life of everyone. A 2025 community survey showed that a majority of Texans support solutions focused on long-term support, rather than just temporary, reactive measures. Many local organizations are creating safe spaces where those in need can share their stories, regain their voice, and find their role in society. According to reports from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, programs with direct community involvement are often more effective in maintaining long-term stability. Not because they are perfect, but because they listen. When the community speaks up, the story of homelessness is no longer an anonymous number. It becomes a story about neighbors, about families, about people trying to stand firm amidst the pressures of modern life. And it is from these voices that trust is gradually rebuilt, that change comes not just from policy, but from the collective efforts of those in the same city.
Future directions.
If previous years were a period of identifying problems, Texas' future is being shaped by how we choose to act today. According to recent analyses from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, localities that invest simultaneously in stable housing, sustainable jobs, and mental health support services are showing more positive results in the medium term. One of the key directions is expanding the supply of affordable housing. Reports for 2025 to 2026 show that increasing the supply of affordable housing helps alleviate financial pressures, a factor that often drives households into prolonged instability. In parallel, Texas is also experimenting with programs that connect workers with new occupations, particularly in the fields of construction, clean energy, and community services. According to the Texas Workforce Commission, short-term training programs have helped thousands of people regain stable income within just a few months. Another pillar of the future is expanding the mental health support system. Not just reacting when crises occur, but focusing on early prevention, helping people cope with life's pressures before they become overwhelming. Experts from the Texas Interagency Council for the Homeless emphasize that the most effective solutions are those that view people as a whole: economic, mental, and environmental. The future direction doesn't promise instant miracles, but it shows one important thing: Texas isn't standing still. Every policy is being adjusted, every community is being listened to, and every individual is being given more opportunities to stand on their own 2 feet again.
Realistic hope.
The story of Texas is not just about numbers, nor is it just about the hardships that once appeared on the streets, that it's the story of a society facing a crucial choice: to abandon or to work together to adjust the system so that no one is left behind. According to recent aggregate assessments from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, localities that invest long-term in stable housing, early mental health support, and suitable employment opportunities are seeing sustainable improvements, not only for individuals, but for the surrounding communities. Reports from the Texas Homeless Network show that each person leaving a precarious situation not only reduces social costs, but also increases safety, cohesion, and trust in the neighborhood. But hope here is not an empty promise. That hope is built on very concrete things: a room with a lockable door, a job that provides a living wage, a system that listens to people before pressure becomes a prolonged mental crisis. According to policy experts from the Texas Interagency Council for the Homeless, sustainable solutions don't come from short-term measures, but from continuous collaboration between the government, the community, and individuals. Texas is a vast state with many differences and challenges, but it is also here that small changes are proving one thing: hope doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be practical enough to touch real life.